So once again, I was not ready for this new character announcement, but Arxis announced Testament. So of course we gotta talk about why Guilty Gear players strongly dislike Testament. And as usual, we go to, I was going to say Guilty Gear Exurd, but Testament is nowhere to be found in this game. So we actually have to go back. So this is Testament. So Testament was not in Exurd, like I just said. Last time we saw Testament was in Accent Core plus R. So if I had to summarize why people don't like playing against this character, is that Testament is a defensive character in general that lays traps, runs away, controls spaces on their own terms to set up really overwhelming, oppressive offense. So one, we gotta start with normal. So ACR is an older game. So in this game, attacks aren't what they seem, and that move I just used with Milia, the 6P, is invincible above the waist. And a lot of moves are disjointed, so that means I can't attack this scythe. This scythe is all hitbox. And Testament has a lot of moves like this. This is the far slash, close slash, 6H, jump S, jump D. So that scythe really is what it is. It's a big ass scythe. It's really hard to get past. Which brings us to Testament's zoning. So Testament isn't really lobbing projectiles at you nonstop. Testament works with their traps to help control space. So there's going to be three main moves we're using here. So one is going to be this. This is the skull. So once this activates, Testament has 4 different patterns. So I believe the first attack is random, and then after that, depending on what the first attack is, the crow will launch subsequent attacks in a pattern totally independent of Testament. Testament has 2 versions, one that goes in the air like this, and one that goes in the ground like this. And if you have a crumb of meter, you have the force break version, which kind of goes in the middle and will just stay on their head and kind of freak out on some exorcist energy. Now, you might be like, oh, you could just avoid it or something, but Testament does have a guaranteed way of getting these by knocking down and comboing into it on the knockdown opponent. So then you have the other trap. So let's go with this one. Where's the trap? So Testament can plant an invisible tree, and the opponent has to go nearby to activate it. Testament can set 2 of these on the screen as well. Another trap that Testament has that's a little bit more flexible because you could do it in the air. I guess it wouldn't make that much sense if you could plant trees in the air, is this, the web. So unlike the tree has a pretty subtle animation, but once you play the game a little bit, you're like, all right, that's the tree. The web, you see the web for a second and it goes away. Also, the opponent can pop the web by attacking it or by jumping into it. Now, as you might have noticed, the big difference with this one and its flexibility is you can set them in the air. And then we gotta talk about the offense. What happens when you get hit? So there's a couple of main things to keep in mind. Generally, in these type of games, the line we use to what can you and can you not react to tends to be 18 frames. Usually people agree, all right, anything faster than that, you can't react to. For the people who go, well, actually, the human reaction time is this, so really it should be lower, it should be like 14 frames. A lot of these games actually have a little bit of built-in delay in the game. That's usually why we settle on this number, because you have to take the extra delay in mind. So my main, Milia, she has a move like this. It's this. This is Bad Moon. But there's a little bit of an execution check on this because Bad Moon is an air-only attack, so you have to be able to perform it low to the ground. Where Testament just has this, just 17 frame, 6P, basically an instant overhead in one button. That they can chain out of very easily. Despite Bad Moon being incredibly strong historically throughout all Guilty Gear, if you do block this, you will punish her. Testament will continue their offense like nothing happened. And that's all well and good. A mix-up is a mix-up, but you have to combine it with this move, EXE Beast. There's a couple of important changes to this move in ACR. So there's 2 main things about this move, this version. One, you can delay when the EXE Beast moves. So that's like the maximum delay. And this is like fast EXE Beast. And then 2, you can summon 2. The application on knockdown is quite straightforward. Then there is this. So this is Master of Puppets. So this powers up Testament's traps. So remember the traps we saw before? So now this is the new powered up web. You get stuck for way longer than before. And this is the powered up tree. It's way bigger than before and inflicts poison. So we looked at a bunch of stuff, but the truth is it's a combination of everything. So Testament is pretty good at converting combos, pretty good at freestyling combos because you're setting traps all over the place. And if the opponent gets hit, you use things like Badlands to kind of fill in the gaps. And then once you do get a hit into a knockdown, you run your game plan with EXE Beasts into heavy offense. So let's take a look at what that all looks like together. So we have this clip from the Guilty Gear Accent Core Plus R USA vs Japan 25-25. Elven Shadow playing Faust here against Keisuke, who's considered to be the best Testament player in this version. So unfortunately in the previous round, poor Elven used his burst already, so we get to see the extent of the oppression session that Testament can put on the opponent. Again, this is a combination of everything I just described happening all together, all at the same time. It's the synergy of things that makes this such a rough spot. So let's try to talk through the chaos. So this all begins off a stray because Elven Shadow doesn't have a burst or a combo breaker, right? So you're gonna knock down here with Badlands, EXE Beast, which lets Testament fill in that little gap with a button into another EXE Beast. This is going to pull Elven Shadow back into Testament's pressure. Okay, quick little overhead attempt, hits. Remember, that's instant. Okay, knockdown again, EXE Beast, fill the gap the same way. There, we're going to use the Force Break Skull to prevent escape, to try to seal up the jump. Remember, Testament has really big buttons that can't be hit at this range. Also, I think Testament wants a T-pose here, but anyway. Elven manages to slip out, but the skull is waiting under. Faust is really floating and can jump really high, but his air dash doesn't travel very far. So, Faust is forced to fall onto the skull, getting hit trying to adjust where he was going to fall. The crows are now attacking independently. So now there's EXE Beast, Crow, and Testament attacking all at the same time. EXE Beast, overhead block this time. Remember, there's Crow and EXE Beast here. EXE Beast, another skull to just keep Faust down. Maybe get another attempt at the curse. Low blocked. Overhead blocked. Something got caught. Combo happening, burst baited, death. And that, my friends, is why Guilty Gear players strongly dislike Testament. Again, we're talking about just playing against Testament. So this is just a preview of what Testament used to be able to do, what type of character they are, and what you can generally expect from Testament and Strive. I tend to call the last version of most fighting games the fuck it version because they just give characters crazy shit. So like that, what we just saw is not normal, and it's not like every round is like that against Testament. That's just an extreme. That's something that could happen to you. But all right, as usual, if you guys have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you guys feel like it, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.